Yeah, so I was talking the end of the Jesus Effects video. I was talking about like my modern day horror when I got a little older, from the nigga with the mask going around killing people, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, shit like that, to how I got different. And I didn't want to make that video too long, so I had to end it, and I said I'm gonna end it and come back in with my touch, because a lot of movies started to come out around that era. I think that was like in the mid 2000s, like I want to say early 2000s, to the mid 2000s to now, of how horror changed from a certain way. Like we had those, because I kind of missed. I was like, where's Freddy and Jason? Where's all this? And it turned into like regular shit, like horror that could be like right down the street from you and you don't even know the shit. Like I told you, Saw. Like that shit. That shit was giving me creepy vibes and shit. Like white man dying of cancer. Want everybody to appreciate his life, so people that's fucking up their lives, he fucked them up with some fucking trap or some shit to make them save their lives, to appreciate lives, to try to help them in some creepy ass way. He was doing that. And I talked about, because it's a lot of movies, because I watched almost all the motherfuckers. And then I talked about Hostel. I think Hostel was the one where you buy somebody, like they auction them all, like it was like rich people, and they auction them off and just do whatever they want with them. Like you basically pay for them, and you do, and that's some modern day shit, because you know the slave trade is not over, missing people or whatever, and what's going on with them. Oh, I get it, all that crazy shit, but I have to, because that was trauma. That's trauma in a way, because that's what you're seeing and you watching that shit. And then you got the what's I said, 22 millimeter, about the snuff films, and still it's always, and I'm gonna blame it on white people, but that's what they show. Like white people doing some like real weird shit, like having sex with motherfuckers, like killing them and crazy ass shit like that. Because and that came hand in hand, and I didn't say this in the last video before I ended it, that I was just telling y'all my point of view of that trauma. Like that freaked me out, because I'm like, shit, I'm an adult now, damn near. I would think I was just turning 18 or 17, and I'm like, that became the new horror movie, Saw and all that shit. And I could look up more 2000 horror movies, and they want, I know I'd have seen them all, but I just thought, like, I didn't even notice that back then. That it changed that way until just now. But now that I'm talking about this shit, I might as well go in. I go into horror movies any other time, and that's a good topic. Like, okay, like I'm looking. I seen most of it. Like, they got American Psycho was made in the 2000s. I thought that was a 90s movie. I really did. That, if y'all watched that movie with Christian Bale, that shit, and that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. Like Christian Bale came out with American Psycho. He's the rich dude with the money. he could get any girl he wanted. He was just killing bitches. You know what I'm saying? He was Ted Bundy in that. He was Ted Bundy in ass. Is that Ted Bundy the one that was the I guess the good looking guy that was going out just killing random ass like girls, getting away with it? But he was really getting away. Ted Bundy was getting away with that shit too. This nigga went to court and beat his fucking case the first time. So they was like, look man, and he represented himself. This nigga ain't no lawyer the first time. He represented himself and fucking won. White privilege my ass. He was charming and he won over the jury. This nigga was representing himself in a fucking murder case and beat that shit. Not only did he beat that shit, he went out again and killed more motherfuckers. Like they did, like we talk about this white privilege shit like it ain't nothing. Not only did they let this nigga go, this nigga was so cocky that he kept doing this shit. Like this nigga was like, fuck y'all. Wasn't he like, it was another motherfucker that was leaving notes and shit. Which one? Was it him? One of them motherfuckers was leaving notes like, y'all niggas can't catch me. I can't remember who it was. I used to study all that shit, and that shit used to freak me out. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, leaving notes like, y'all niggas can't catch me. I'm gonna keep doing it. Like the nigga fucking beat it and still went out there and started killing more motherfuckers. Like that's a psychopath to this fullest. And they probably still wouldn't deny, oh no, it wasn't him. Like, come on, man. A nigga can't shoot a nigga in the leg without getting life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to make that about race, but come on, what else you gonna look? How else you gonna look at that? You know what I'm saying? Cause this nigga not only got out for this shit. Cause I was watching the little shit there. I was watching the trial, like the little documentary or whatever. And after they said they let him go, but I mean, I don't think they really didn't have no evidence on the nigga until they caught him again doing the shit. And I think they caught him red-handed this time. But yeah, you gotta get caught with a knife in your hand. If you're a white man, you gotta get caught with a knife in your hand, with the knife halfway in the victim before they lock your ass up. That's what it seemed like. Because this nigga killed a rock of motherfucking girls, and he won. And he wasn't just like he was killing. I don't know if he killed any black girls, but he was just killing little white girls. Going to the beach, picking them up. How the fuck they ain't know who the fuck he was after that case though? Like I would be like, ain't you that nigga? Ain't you that nigga that was killing people? Hold up. Yeah, that nigga was doing shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I was going through a list. I fucking put my phone away. Yeah, American Psycho. That's what I was talking about. American Psycho. That shit is crazy. Devil's Reject was another one. Like, I like that movie. They shot it out and they said, fuck that shit. There was clowns or some shit. What was they, clowns? I told y'all about that clown shit. They was dressed. When the father dressed like a clown or some shit in that movie. Them motherfuckers was crazy. They were like incest family or some shit. Like, look, like I'm looking at all the movies that came out in the early 2000s, before 2010, and I'm gonna name them. Cause these were some crazy. Alright, The Mist. I remember The Mist. That was some like H.P. Lovecraft. That had nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Alright, they had Silent Hill, Descent, Orphan. That was another weird ass movie. Dead Sessions, Dead Silence. Session 9, American Psycho in 2000. What lies belief? What lies beneath? I seen that movie, but I don't remember it. The House of the Devil, Cloverfield, Devil's Reject, Slither, Amityville Horror, and that was another one. See, around that time, that's when they start putting out that possession shit too. Dawn of the Dead, 2004. I skipped one. The Uninvited. I don't know. House of Wax. That was some other crazy shit. Taking fucking people. 2005. This House of Wax. Taking real people, making them into wax figures. That was crazy. The Sale. I think that was that Jennifer Lopez in that video, in that movie? I think it was Jennifer Lopez. The Ring, 2002. I skipped another one. The Strangers, 2008. 28 Days Later. What was that about? Y'all know. The Grudge. The Messengers. Drag Me to Hell. What was this? 13 Ghosts, 2001. That was in 2001. Yeah, I was like in the early teens. Jeepers Creepers, Final Destination, Splinter, Gothica. Remember Gothica with Halle Berry? Because right now when I'm looking at this list, she was the only black person in one of those type of movies. And that movie was, to me, I remember when I first seen that movie, because I was like, oh, it's Halle Berry. You know what I'm saying? You know when you look at a celebrity, you be like, oh, just because it's that person, I want to watch the movie. So I watched the movie, and I was kind of lost after the part, like when she was driving, and then I guess the girl that was dead or whatever that they killed came out to her, and then she ended up in the mental institution, and she be like, why the fuck am I here? Whole time her husband and the dude was raping the fucking girl, and the girl was just coming out to get her justice or whatever. That was some weird shit. And I'm telling you, like, the 2000 movies start. I remember Jennifer's Body. I think I seen that. I think that's when the girl died, and then she came back. Like, she was like unpopular, and then she died, came back looking good, and she started killing everybody and shit. 30 Days a Night. I watched that, but I can't remember it. A House of a Thousand Corpses. There's a whole record of zombie shit. 28 weeks later, May. I don't think I seen that. The Hills Have Eyes, and that was another one, because they based that shit on reality too. Cause I heard stories, like if y'all driving down south, like I know something stink. If you driving down south and you from the northeast and you go into them parts, them West Virginia hills, like I told you, I drove down there, nigga. If get fucking your car fucking fucked up, nigga, you fucked. If you driving down that shit, you better make sure your motherfucking car runs, because you driving down there, and I drove to fucking Charlestown before from here, and you drive down there and them roads have no lights, nigga. You want to see mountains and big trees, nigga. And as I was driving, I had just bought this fucking car, and I don't know why I did it. I did it for a chick. She gonna get mad when she listens to this, cause I think she's a subscriber. But I drove there for her, cause I wanted everything to work. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this for you. When that was the only casino we had in our area, I drove all the way to Charlestown for her. Nigga, my check engine light came on and everything. I was scared as shit. Nigga, it's the roads where, nigga, if you don't pay attention to what the fuck you doing, nigga, you fucked. If you driving down that shit, you better make sure your motherfucking car runs, because if you driving down that shit, you better make sure your motherfucking car runs. You better make sure your motherfucking car runs. you fucking go off the side of the road, it's a wrap for you. Nigga, whatever's in the woods gonna get your ass. I was scared as shit. It was late as shit at night. And we went late, 12 o'clock. We didn't get back till like 2, 3, like 3, 4 in the morning. All the way back, I had this fucking state trooper on my ass. What? I'm in West Virginia, nigga. I got Maryland tags. We stopped at the gas station. He kept it moving. I thought he was gonna fuck with me. And the person I'm with rolling a fucking, well, we wanted to roll a J, so we had weed. And she fucked around and we stopped at the store to get some roll up. And down there, they don't sell blunts and shit. They only had Swisher Sweets and that flavored shit. So I'm like, look, man, weed wasn't as hot as it is now. So I'm like, look, man, we get pulled over with weed in the car right here. I don't want to go to jail over a J. Because I was like, don't bring a lot of weed. Just bring a J. So, man, you get pulled over around there, nigga. Them country ass motherfuckers. West Virginia, nigga. That's where the hills at. I heard stories like, look, dog, these people ain't like, nigga, y'all think white people a certain way. Nah, these ain't normal white folk. These niggas inbred and they crazy as fuck. And I believe that shit. And I drove down that way because I told you I drove to Woodstock, Virginia. If you ever been to Woodstock, where they really had the Woodstock concerts and shit. I think it was in Woodstock, Virginia. I drove down there. It's dog. I would never go down there again. You know what I'm saying? I did it for my job. Like, fuck. Like, that's all I can say to y'all. It was a beautiful scenery, nigga. But nigga, I would not want to have car problems down there. Man, can you imagine, nigga? Before you see another car even drive past your motherfucking ass, you'll probably be sitting out there for like an hour, and they not gonna stop, especially if they see some niggas around there. Fuck no, nigga. If you see a pickup truck with like some limping ass fucking white men, some limping ass fucking crazy looking hillbillies pop up, nigga, you better fucking pray, nigga, cause nigga, that's probably like about to be a start of the beginning of a scary movie. I was just praying that we made it back to Berlin. You know what I'm saying? But that shit was scary. Driving the fuck down that crazy ass shit. Alright, Case 13, Halloween, the newer version, The Orphanage, the Let the Right One In, Exorcism, Resident Evil, the Emily Rose Exorcism, Cabin Fever. See, in the 2000s, I told you, it was a lot of that zombie shit. The House on the Left, remember that? And Hostel. Hostel came out in 2005. And Record, I watched that, but I can't remember what it was about. The Tales of Two Sisters. Shaun of the Dead was making fun of the zombie shit. And The Martyrs. So I'm just going down the popular horror movies. Them all the popular horror movies. So you catch the theme? Did y'all catch the theme in that I named? From the 2000s, from the 90s versions of the horror movie, from the 80s and that, because the 80s versions of the horror movies was just, and the 90s versions was just repeats of the 80s versions. But in the 2000s, they went a whole nother ball game. They started putting out more the exorcism type shit, the zombie type shit, the decrepit white hills have eyes type shit. They started doing that. Hold on real quick. So they started doing that. They started doing that, like that crazy ass shit. You know what I'm saying? And black people started getting real quick. And around those times, black people started ending up missing too. More. Like, especially around, like I told you, the hostile shit. Like, and then I think that around, I don't know for sure because I ain't look it up, but around that time, that's when that movie Taken, around that time, because I watched Taken around that same, that's when they were talking about the kidnapping and the sex slaves and all that shit started coming out at the same time. All that shit. And Taken wasn't a scary movie. It was an action movie, but I think most of those movies is based on reality. For real. They just start saying, you know what? We gonna just tell these niggas what we doing. Because the movies got weirder and weirder. And I used to watch the shit, be like, how's this a scary movie? But then to a black person, that's some creepy, that's some scary shit. Like, if they would have changed the victims in the movie with like Hostel and Hills Have Eyes and I mean they had black, I think they had black people in Saw. I didn't watch the last Saw with Chris Rock or that spinoff. I'm gonna watch that because they was trying to make it serious, like he was a detective, I think. But I want to watch that because I don't watch the rest of them. So, but when they if you would have just took all the victims from all those movies I just named, Hostel, 22 millimeter, and Saw and shit like that, and made them just all black characters that was the victims, that would change your reality. You'll be like, hold the fuck up. That's why they ain't do that. But if they would have did that, you would be thinking a whole nother way, and you know it. That would have freaked you the fuck out. And that was kind of freaking me out when they had white people playing those victim roles. Cause you'd be like, hold up, why they just taking up niggas? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that would have changed you up. That would have changed you up, and you know it would have. Let me take my ass in the house, but I'm probably still going because I want to. But I don't want to be on camera though. So let me pause it real quick. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. I just don't want the camera on. But yeah, it was a changing movie genre, I guess you could say. It was like a change in the movie genre. There's gonna be some noise. Hopefully I can talk loud enough. It was a change in the movie genre. It might be too loud. I don't think y'all can hear me over loud. So it was a change in the movie genre that changed movies around, and it was like they was getting more to like some type of reality, but they was trying to make it seem like it was fake. But this shit was really like going down. You know what I'm saying? This shit was really going down. And then now we look at reality today and we hear all these stories and shit. Like of all the shit that happened. There was some truth to that. So for a change, and then I'ma go to like the late 2000s. Well, they got all the 2000s up here. Some of the same shit I already went through. But you can see like it went a little darker in a way. It went darker, and then it went to more of trying to like hit you in your everyday life. Cause when you think of Michael Myers and Freddy and Jason, you be like, ain't no motherfucker died, came back and started killing motherfuckers. Like that, you're not gonna look at that as like some reality. To you, that's fantasy. Even if you know better, if you don't know better, you're just not gonna look at that as that. You're gonna look at that as some fantasy shit. I hope y'all can hear me. You know what I'm saying? But you're gonna look at that as some fantasy shit. You're not gonna look at that as some real life shit. No way. But when they change that shit up to American Psycho type shit, everyday dude with a good ass job going around killing bitches every night just to get his rocks off, then you can be like, hold up, you know what I'm saying? He's the perfect mate. And then when you look at it today, I mean, I know y'all heard the stories about the white dudes meeting a little, I'm not just saying black girls, because I'm pretty sure they're killing white girls too. When they're meeting people on these online, like I was watching a video earlier, like it was a sex worker, because these girls on OnlyFans, y'all better be careful. I think this was in Houston, and I don't know where this dude was from. I didn't see his picture. He had a weird last name. He wasn't American. Well, he probably was American, but he wasn't local. And this nigga basically told his whole crime on Google before he did it. How do you get rid of evidence, and how do you get rid of blood and the bleach? Like, it's crazy. And this is recent. Like, I don't know what's up with these niggas. Like, what are they group? Like, what is wrong? Like, y'all trying to have me explain these motherfucking psychopaths. I can't explain this shit. I can't sit here and give an excuse for what's going on through a psychopath mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm end up doing, and I'm not even doing this because I don't know. I would never think to kill a sex worker. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck? I never fucking been to the strip club before. And a lot of people probably think I'm lying, but I haven't. I just always used to say, I'm not giving no girl no fucking hundreds of dollars to do some shit that I could get a girl to do for nothing. I'm not just trying to diss the girl that's doing it for nothing, but I'm not about to pay for sex, period. That's what I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong with if y'all do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, if y'all do that, these niggas is killing these fucking females now. Like, this shit is, they need them just to kill them. Like, it's like they have the mind is gone. The mind, and it goes back, what I say, it goes back to the mental health. Everybody's desensitized to what they see. They desensitized. Like, we on some like they're looking at these things and saying, look, I'm gonna do this, but I don't know what rules or psychopath now. I don't have a psychopath now. I never had that. Like, I'm that motherfucker that sit in the back be like, damn, what the fuck was he going through in his life to make him just want to meet this girl just to kill her? Like, what is wrong? You having problems at home or something? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. Why would he kill her? What did she do to him? I'm thinking shit like that. Did she say something about his mama or something? I don't know. Like, I mean, most of that trauma and them people like that, it starts in their home though. Most of that trauma starts in their home, and that's a fact. I'm not gonna make this video as long as the last one. I didn't put the last one up yet. I probably don't do that shit till tomorrow, cause I'm gonna have to watch all that first. Even though I know I was going in a little bit, I'm just doing kudos to myself for a little, cause I know I was kind of going in on some shit. But I watch it still. But the motherfuckers like that though, like, what are you going through? And we never know. It's like it's something. It's something serious for them to want to meet somebody for the first time and just dismember them, because he didn't just kill this girl. He brought like saws and shit to cut her up, like he planned it. So it was like premeditated the killing before he even met her. So it wasn't like he met her and then it was a disagreement and he killed her. It was like he was planning to kill her. And it's like, damn, where's our mental going? Our mental's gone. I mean, I ain't gonna say where is it going, it's gone. It been gone, honestly. It been gone. We been lost our mental mind. I don't know what year. Don't give me the lying. But our mind is gone as a people. Not as a people, because I'm not just talking about white, black, whatever. I'm talking about, as a race. Not as a race. I don't mean race. I mean as a collective. The mind is gone. Like, American Psycho, come on. Like, I remember when I first watched that fucking movie. I heard things about, they used to do spoofs on that movie. When he came at the girl with the knife when she was in the shower and shit. They was just doing spoofs about that scene. And I never watched it. And when I watched it, when I finally actually watched that movie, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this nigga's fucking, like, I see why they got him to play Batman. Because Batman is technically insane. You know what I'm saying? Think about Batman for real. All that shit too. That came out. Batman is technically insane. This nigga say, you know what I'm gonna do? To fight crime in the streets, because my parents got killed when I was a little kid. I'm gonna dress up as something I used to be scared of to scare other people. That's fucking insane. I'm gonna dress like a bat, I'm gonna run around the streets, and I'm gonna fucking scare people. I ain't gonna kill him, but I'm gonna scare him and beat him half to death. That's insane. Even our fucking superheroes insane. You know what I'm saying? Superman had morals or whatever. They never show Superman killing nobody. Batman ain't kill nobody either, because he had morals, but shit. if y'all watched the first Batman with y'all, I don't know how I'm gonna forget, because that was the best Batman. Who's the nigga? Michael Keaton. Watch the first Batman with Michael Keaton. They killed a lot of motherfuckers in that movie. Remember when he was fighting them at the end? When he was trying to get to the Joker or whatever? And he kicked that black dude down that bell tower? Ain't nobody surviving that shit. That nigga died. They said Batman never killed nobody. He killed that nigga. He basically killed that nigga. Even when you watch the Batman with the Joker again, with Heath Ledger, that was a ritual. If y'all ain't see a ritual, y'all know the ritual. Panic talked about that. Y'all see how many niggas they killed in there. Just pay attention to all the niggas that died in that movie. Michael Jai White died. The police officers that were just extras and shit, they were just killing niggas. You know what I'm saying? They killed at least 8 niggas in that movie. 8 black people on screen died in that movie. That's why the energy was like too much. They killed too many niggas and it was on the wrong side of the energy. That energy was for niggas and they killed a whole lot of niggas. I ain't gonna say that's why he died, because I don't know how I understand how the energy works, but I'm not gonna say that's why he died. But he could not get that character out of his head, and Jack Nicholson told him. That's why I said that, because Jack Nicholson said, because if y'all know the whole thing about him and Jack Nicholson, what they was going through when that movie came out, he said Jack Nicholson was jealous of him, that he was playing Batman, because he told him, don't play the role, it's a different energy. And he said, Jack Nicholson exactly, I think, said those exact words, don't play that role, the energy is different now. And he basically was saying niggas is on the rise, they're not down bad like how they was. That's what I got out of it. But when he played that role, and then Jack Nicholson, and then watched the interview when Jack Nicholson found out he died, and the reporters even fucking told him that he died. How? And they said it, and he was like, I told him not to do it. So, because he was blaming Jack Nicholson, like Jack Nicholson put a curse on him because he couldn't get the voices out of his head. Because he was playing an energy that he wasn't ready for. The Joker is a god. Like, the Joker is a god. That's why I was telling y'all niggas, like, I told y'all I put the Joker, it's not like an altar. It's kind of like an altar, but I put that nigga up there. The leg bound. You know what I'm saying? He's up there. That nigga was playing with the wrong fucking energy. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't Jack Nicholson. He couldn't do it like Jack Nicholson did it. I'm not saying acting wise, because there's a lot of people that will say he did a terrible job, but I think I liked it. I only liked it for some of the points he dropped in the movie of his interpretation of what he was in that movie. It wasn't because of the acting. It was because the interpretation of what he was in that movie when he was saying certain shit. Like when he was talking to Two-Face. He was like, I'm just a dog chasing a car. When I catch it, I don't know what to do with it. I just do. I like that line. And when he burnt the money, I was confused. Because I understood, I never seen the Joker really care about money. But then at the same time, I was like, damn, that's a lot of money. It was like probably $1 trillion, $1 billion. He burnt all of that shit. And the nigga was like, what are you doing? He was like, ho, you got your money. This ain't yours. This is mine. I do whatever I want with it. And it's not about the money. And that was another powerful line in that movie that I liked. Because he was showing that he wasn't there for the money. He was there to be something more than just the villain. He was like not just being the villain because he was showing that he was being the villain. He was being the opposite. He was being the opposite. He was coming out there saying that you out here fighting for all these people that you think is right. That's why he set up that last thing he set up when he was like, I put the criminals and the civilians on the boat, and if they don't kill each other by this certain time, then I'm gonna blow both of their ass up. And who was trying to kill who? I said this already though. But who was trying to kill the fucking Debo through a motherfucking top? They'll detonate out the fucking window. And then what the civilians said, them people had that chance. They need to die, and they was about to kill him until they realized they didn't die. The criminals ain't killed them. So it was showing you a perspective of where these motherfuckers really think like that. You had your chance, you failed. You should die. You had your chance, but the criminals was like, fuck that. We're not about to kill a whole rack of motherfucking people and have that on our fucking soul. Some of us already in here for killing motherfuckers, and they had to respect that decision. And that's just my point of view. Even though the Bane shit was the last. Cause Bane was like, we taking this shit over, and y'all do whatever the fuck y'all want, and we hanging all these traitors and these liars. I'm not trying to tell y'all that the criminal side is the right, but I mean, y'all gotta look at it. I'm looking at it through a different point of view than y'all. I'm not saying I'm gonna go out there and do some shit or start some shit. I'm not trying to incite no shit. I'm just telling y'all, like, to me, that's how like, a good villain. That's a good villain. Like, that's a good villain. A lot of times we never see a good villain in the movie. It makes the movie better. I'm saying the movie's good with a good, because a lot of these movies be falling flat. Like I told y'all, like that Superman Return shit, that shit suck. Even though they use Lex Luthor, like I never really liked the character. When I watched Smallville and that shit, like how they was friends growing up and they end up becoming villains, and he kind of blamed Superman for everything, like losing his hair because it kind of was his fault because he was big and all that. And when you look at it through that point of view, and you find out Clark was lying to him throughout that whole friendship, and they was friends, they was actual friends, and then it's like, you know how that if that friend betrayed you, how you would feel? It was like that. You know what I'm saying? You'll be betrayed. And they made it like that in Smallville. Like if you just look at it this evil, because that's why I wanna watch the Lois and Clark, so I can see the black Lex Luthor. Like I need to go back and watch that, and I can't remember what I was watching that on, but I want to go back to all that. I still want to talk, but I think I might cut it off because I did start this about horror movies, and I'm on fucking Batman and shit. Like I want to get back to the horror movies and shit. Because they were because the reason I want to get back there, because they were shaping our minds in certain ways with those movies. Like you had a lot of those exorcism type movies, and then you had the Annabelles and all that shit come out, and then they remade Chucky a couple of times. You see, you can't really get away from that classics or whatever. They can't get too far from that classics. Like, I won't be surprised in the next 5 years they come out with another Chucky. I wouldn't be surprised. Damn, this one 44 minutes. I didn't want to go this long. But yeah, I won't be surprised. I should look up some more movies that I didn't mention. Let's see what's on the list. Jeepers Creeper, that dumb shit. And you see it, I told you, like Paranormal Activity with Blair Witch. Urban Legend and Valentine and Scream was all like the same shit to me. All that was like the same shit to me. Like that Valentine movie, Your Bloody Valentine and the Valentine. I think Valentine and Bloody Valentine is two different things. But that shit was dumb. I'm saying it's nothing else. There's really nothing else on here that I ain't mentioned. But the beginning of this talk, I kind of broke it down. I'm about to just go back and listen to these, because I'm about to end it. I'm about to go back and listen to these, and then probably put them up tonight, maybe. So I'm about to end it. Alright, y'all.